Good morning. Once again, I'm starting I'm restarting due to technical issues. Firstly, we'll have a look at our unit web page. This is our unit web page for this semester. And the unit is called PG420 International and Regional Security. On Monday, we went through the unit outline. I talked about the learning outcomes, the graduate attributes. We looked at the content briefly and we talked about the learning and teaching strategies. The assessment task briefly went through, but for this period, we'll go in detail. We will look at the learning guide. I will briefly go through the instructions that are given in the learning guide in relation to the 3 different assessment tasks. And if you have any questions or comments, queries, or need further clarification, you can ask me now during this session, or you can send me an email or send me a message on Moodle. Yes, and we looked at attendance, feedback, evaluation strategies, and I also talked about the consultation times and then the references. So that's a recap of what we talked about on Monday. So for this period, we will look at the learning guide. By now, all of you should be familiar with the way I structure my unit web page. Unit web pages for the units that I teach. We start off with the welcome video, then the announcement forum, unit outline page, learning guide booklet, and then the reading format. We go into the weeks, week 1, week 2, week 3. So week 2 next week we'll have a seminar discussion and it will be on security. The topic will be security as a concept. Okay, to the learning guide. The chapters are similar to other learning guide booklets that I have for the other units. So you start with the content and the disclaimer. Then we move on to details about the staff. Chapter 2, my timetable, my teaching philosophy, my teaching and learning style, and then change in learning and teaching environment, and the different learning spaces that we have due to the advancement in technology. And then the ground rules, expectations, dressing, online participation, teaching style and personality, student evaluation. Then we have the various academic policies that you need to read and follow. Not only yourself, but we as well. The teaching and learning policy, the assessment policy, examination policy, special consideration policy, student admission and progression policy, academic grievance policy, and appeals, plagiarism and integrity policy, graduate attributes policy, and also the online learning policies, very important. If you look at the online learning policy, you see that by web pages, unit web pages, I try to follow the online learning policy. Into the grading structure for this unit. So we have 3 assessment tasks. The first one is a policy review out of 30%. The second one is an online seminar anticipation out of 30%. And the third one is a major capstone assessment task. The third one, which is an online social media awareness campaign. So that's 40%, 30%, and 30% for a policy review. So the marks will be given. The breakup is the review 1 will be 15%, review 2 15%, so a total of 30%. Online seminar participation, session 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6% for each, a total of 30%. Assessment task 3, online social media awareness campaign. The breakup is that I'll be awarding or giving 2 marks for preparation, organization. Your message on Facebook will be 4%. Content on blog published before week 14 will be 20%. Creativity on Facebook and blog, and your engagement on Facebook and the blog, that's 6%, 6%. So a total of 40%. Total of 40%. Thank you, Jason, for joining us. I hope the others will join us sooner or later. I've shared that link with all of you via email. So the first assessment task, I'll just go through it briefly and then I'll move on to the second and the third one. The first assessment task is a policy review. So you are asked to review 2 policies. The first one is the national security policy, PNG national security policy, which was written in 2013 by the O'Neill government. And the second policy is the PNG defense white paper policy. It was written in 2013 as well by the O'Neill government. So the O'Neill government, as during their tenure, they have come up with 2 very important policies related to security, and the policies incorporates both issues affecting us regionally as well as globally. So the 2 policies are located in our reading folder. So apart from the 2 policies in the reading folder, we also have our required readings in the reading folder as well. For this assessment task, we'll be using the UNSW structure or template, the template UNSW template for writing a critical review. And I have hyperlinked this text here. So if you click on the UNSW link, take you a bit of time. If you click that, it will take you to the original the UNSW page where you can get more information about how to write a critical review. So we will use the structure and I've slightly modified some parts. Yes, this is the UNSW structure of a critical review. So you have the introduction, the summary, the critique, conclusion, and references. So I've adapted this particular template, but then I've made minor changes to customize to our setting, to our unit and our requirements as and backing criteria. So for each review, for the 2 different reviews, you have to have your introduction, state clearly your introduction, then your summary of key points in the policy or white paper with examples. A conclusion, going back to the conclusion, you have to state or briefly outline whether your evaluation will be positive, negative, or you'll give a mixed response. So will you give a positive review of the national security white paper, or this PNG defense white paper, or national security policy, or will you share with us a negative evaluation? So negative meaning you say that, okay, this policy was not really implemented. It was formulated, written well, but then for the implementation part, government failed miserably to put together different, bring together all the agencies and put in place implementation mechanism to implement the policy. So that could be your negative review of the national security policy. Or it could be positive and say that, okay, with our they did a wonderful job. They were able to put this, they picked out necessary uh, issues that posed a security threat to our country. They identified and then they logically prioritized, put them down in logical order for us to follow and address the issues. Yeah, so it could be either positive or negative. Negative. So you have to make that clear in your introduction. Your the critic segment, you will look at the strengths and the weaknesses, or talk about any notable features of the policy or the white paper. And that segment is also where you bring your references in. So you bring your supporting credible sources to support your critique. So excuse me, let me make that point again. For referencing, I'll only look at the critique segment of review. So you have to do your referencing in the critique segment to support your evaluation in the critique segment. So you're not expected to or required to do referencing in the introduction, summary, or your conclusion. But the in-text referencing should be done in your critique segment to support your evaluation. If you identify strengths and weaknesses, then you talk about it and then you expand further by bringing in other literature to support what you are saying. And also for recommendations, if you make recommendations, then you have to, if your recommendations are derived from other policy documents or other documents related to BMD, then you have to reference as well, take reference or do in-text referencing. So in the critique, you have to make recommendations on how the policy or white paper can be improved or updated in light of new regional or international security challenges or issues. In the critique, you have to do two things: share your evaluation of the strengths, weaknesses, and other notable features, and then you also have to do your or make your recommendations. For the conclusion, it's a summary of what you've written. So you restate your overall opinion, whether you're positive or negative, or you are in the middle, you have a mixed response. You think the national security policy is good, but it is also bad and outdated. We need to update. That's up to you as an individual to think about think about it and then share with us what your thoughts are or what your opinion is. Apart from restating your overall opinion of the policy, you have to briefly present your recommendations as well. So briefly present your recommendations as well. And then the final segment will be your references. So the words will be counted. Please refer to the unit outline. And you have to use APA referencing. So your index references. That will be in support of the in-text references that you use in the critique segment. All right, so you have to use the required readings or other supporting literature to help you write your critical reviews. Make an effort to reference accurately using the APA format in line with the plagiarism and integrity policy. Okay, so your review will now the requirement is that your reviews will be posted on your group blogs. So you have to move around and negotiate with your peers and then form 5 groups. and email me the names of your group members, and I'll also share the examples. There are 5 groups that were created formally by those who completed the program last year and the year before. So I'll share with you their blogs, and maybe I don't know, you could ask them for their password and use the same blogs, or you create new ones. They created their blogs on WordPress. So you can either use WordPress or Blogger. And you create a blog as part of a group, but then your reviews will be posted individually. You have a group blog, all of you going to post individually, but individually as a group, posting on the blog group. This particular part of the instruction is confusing, then you can email me later for further clarification or communicate with me via the online consultation period starting next week. And so I'll repeat the instruction again. The reviews will be written individually, but it will be posted on your group blogs, your group blogs. So you'll form groups, you'll create a blog. So there'll be 5 groups and 5 blogs. Depending on which group you're in, then you will post your review on the group blog for me to go and back and enter your marks on Moodle. Okay, we're back. Sorry, the internet went off. Something. There was a technical glitch or technical issue. Right, so we're back and we're back. Okay, so we'll continue. Sorry for the technical issue. So just I was talking about blog groups and you posting individually your reviews on your blogs. Yeah, from there I'll go straight to the marking criteria. The marking criteria is very good with the other instructions later and go through, and if you have any issues or comments, questions, then you can communicate with me. For the marking criteria, start off with the structural specifications. So you have to make sure you clearly distinguish your introduction from your summary, from your critique, from your conclusion. If you do not make the distinction, then it's going to be confusing when I read. Everybody picks up the information will not be logically arranged for me to go and have a look and then back accordingly. So from past experiences. I'll share the links to the 5 blogs with you people. You can see the examples done by students last year and the year before. What they did was they used subtopics. So they wrote introduction and then they had the first paragraph, summary, and 1 or 2 paragraphs, and then critique, and then they had 1, 2, 3, or 4 paragraphs, and then at the conclusion was just 1 paragraph. So if you can arrange it that way, then it will make it easy for you to mark. So marks are given based on how you structure your reviews. So if you have clearly defined subtopics and you organize as per the instructions given, then you get the full 3 marks. And if you follow the maximum and minimum word count stated in the learning the learning guide, but the unit outline. The quality, the second segment is the second part of the market criteria is the quality of critic segment. So that's what 4 marks, two for relation to Bowen declaration. So in this particular segment, I want to see how you can analyze both documents and then make the connection to the Bowen declaration. The Bowen declaration was they put together the Bowen declaration, the leaders of the different Pacific Island countries, they put together the Bowen declaration in 2018. And if you look at the timeline, both policies, they come before 2018. So what I want you to do is go back and look at what happened in 2018 and see how the security issues that were identified in both policies, they also contributed to the creation of the Bowen declaration and the identification of the different security issues around the region or within the region. So you see that some of the issues are similar issues captured in the defense white paper and national security policy. So the objective is to get you to analyze the policy, but also read the important multilateral security document that is now an integral part of what is happening in the region currently. The activities that the Pacific Island Forum is doing is based on the security activities are based on the Bowen Declaration. Not only the forum itself, but different member countries as well. So the Bowen Declaration is a very important multilateral agreement. So in the critic segment, I will look at how you relate, talk about the strengths and the weaknesses, and then you connect them to the Bowen Declaration and your recommendations. The third part of the market criteria is about your use of English, accurate use of English. I will look at grammar, spelling, punctuation. The fourth part is about credible sources. So in this part, for this particular assessment task, I want you to make sure you read journal articles as well as you look at resources created by think tanks. Lowy is a good example. AMU's Department of Pacific Affairs is another resourceful site. The website is very good. They share a lot of information about the declaration and about security in the Pacific as well. Lowy is also in that space. Lowy is another credible contributor, and they're creating content which is centered on the Bowen Declaration and what countries in the Pacific are doing in order to address different security threats that are identified in the Bowen Declaration. So my recommendation would be to have a look at Lowy Institute. and the website, including their blog, and have a look at the Department of Pacific Affairs as well as the Australia Pacific Security College and their website, as well as their blog. They have good information in relation to security in the Pacific, the Bowie Declaration, and the security challenges faced by PNG. Uh, for PNG think tanks, we don't have a lot of think tanks that operate in a similar manner to Lowy, the Department of Pacific Affairs, and the Australia Pacific Security College. As such, we don't have a lot of publications in relation to our security policies and what we are doing in the country to meet the recommendations made in the Bowen Declaration. So that's something for the government to look at in the long run. So I want you to use general articles and resources for think tanks, given specific examples. And the final part of the marking criteria is the referencing part. So for the referencing part, you have to be accurate in how you reference in text and text. And references, like I stated earlier on, should be in the critic segment only. The critic segment only. All right, so that's that is the first assessment task. Policy review following the UNSW template, and your review should be published on your group blogs, 5 different group blogs, and the marking criteria is specified there. The task is around 30%. Moving on to assessment task 2, online seminar participation. For this particular task,